Warm welcome to you all. Without further delay, we are pleased to introduce your new manager.
Today is Manchester United's turn to do a 10-season takeover. They've of course finished rock bottom of a quite easy Champions League Group A in real life, as well as finishing 8th in the Premier League, their worst finish in a long time. So today it is Rebuild Sombrero's task to overtake this Manchester United side for 10 seasons to see how many trophies we can win. You get 5 points for winning the Champions League, 3 points for winning a league title, also 3 points for winning either the Europa League or the Europa Conference League, and then 1 point for any domestic cup competitions, the Cup, the FA Cup, the Carabao Cup, or even the Super Cup. So lads, what I can immediately tell you, what really bothers me is all those players here on loan. I'm gonna recall some of them, especially those that I want to sell afterwards. The Manchester United way is the wing play tactical vision. So that is what we are going to use for the 10 seasons. What is also the Manchester United way is to promote youth players from their very prestigious youth academy. So that is what we are going to enhance here by sending Alice Forster to England. He can of course make us a few English babies. First off, we sell Harry Maguire. He goes to Spurs for 19.1 million. We sell Aaron Wan-Bissaka for 41 million. I don't really trust him on the right back. We sell Will Fish to West Brom for 3 million. A big transfer out is Scott McTominay for 18.5 million. Casper the Ghost. Another big one, Anthony Martial to Fulham for 15 million. We sell a main staple of this team for many years. It is Victor Lindelof joining Spurs, once again Spurs, for 22.3 million. We sell a controversial player, one of the few at Manchester United. It is Jadon Sancho joining Liverpool, our biggest rivals, for 60 million. That would cause a lot of carnage, and I absolutely love it. We also sell Christian Eriksen to Newcastle United for 17 million. After clearing house here, we have a massive 457 million in our budget. After the clear out here, we certainly have a lot of weak spaces, and one of them is at the centre back position. We certainly should go in for a new centre back, as Johnny Evans is the only one on the bench, 35-74 rated. What we surely also need is a new striker, because Rasmus Højlund, granted he's an absolute prospect, he's a prospect for the future, but for now I don't think he can cut it just yet in the first season. Certainly down the line he will. I've seen him grow into an 88, 89, 90 player. But for now, we need certainly at least one who can compete with him, if not a superstar. So lads, first off, we go in for a player who is really old now, but he's still 88 overall, he's a striker, and he is our main man until he retires. In a cut scene here, for 45 million, it is Karim Benzema, 88 rated, as I said. Rebuild Sombrero is observing him closely as he gets in the first big player, 46 million from Al Ittihad. Second player we go in for in this first transfer window with Manchester United is an Italian centre-back also already linked to Manchester United. It is Giorgio Scalvini joining us for 24 million. Actually a very good price from Atalanta. What this team certainly needs, besides a centre-back and a striker, is a central midfielder who is very strong in the defensive phase. And that is why we go in for a new central midfielder. He is coming in to Manchester United. It is Federico Valverde joining us for 156 million, our biggest signing by a mile. Will this guy solve all our problems? I don't know, but certainly what I know is he's transforming this midfield. He's also transforming himself to a CDM, and it will take him about 70 weeks, so more than a season. After the purchase of course, Valverde, I don't have any need to keep Sofian Amrabat on our loan. So I'm gonna terminate the loan for 1.1 million. So this is how the team is looking like after the first transfer window. We have Valverde, who is currently transforming to a CDM. Karim Benzema up top, 35-88, still a very important asset. Plus 10 on Højlund for the time being. Important for the first few seasons. And finally, our backup centre-back, 19 years of age, 77 overall, Giorgio Scalvini from Italy, a man for the future. We are now simulating 10 seasons to see if we can topple the 49 points established by, of course, Napoli. We make a few positional changes here. It is first up Anthony from a right midfielder to a right winger, and he goes up by 1 to an 81. Second up, it is Marcus Rashford from a left midfielder to a left winger, and he also goes up by 1 to an 84. Next up, Alejandro Garnacho, our wonder kid, from a right winger to a right winger, from a left midfielder to a right winger, and he goes up by 2 even to an 80 at 19 years of age. What a player. Mason Mount from a central midfielder to a cam goes up by 1. And Federico Valverde from a central midfielder to a CDM stays at an 88. We have already found a very good young player, 16 years of age, 62 rated, Frankie Potts, 88 to 94 potential, a striker, 5'10", the man for the future. For next season already, we sell Anthony for 57 million to Real Sociedad. We know we already need a new winger for next season. At the end of the first season, we are finished in 4th in the Premier League. 76 points, just 1 point below Arsenal, 2 points below Spurs. Manchester City run away with it, only 1 loss, nearly Centurions, 99 points for them. In the FA Cup, it is Newcastle United winning over Arsenal in the final, and we have got knocked out by Newcastle in the semi-final. No points yet on the board. It stays 0 points on the board because in the Carabao Cup, 2 quite surprising finalists is Nottingham Forest defeating Brighton, while we have gotten knocked out in round 4 by our rivals Liverpool. In the Champions League, we came second in our group behind Bayern. In the round of 16, we got knocked out by PSG. The final goes to Manchester City over Arsenal. I mean, what a buy Federico Valverde was. 23 goals by a CDM and 11 assists as well. So our best scorer and our best assister. He was the one that dragged us into 4th place. Garnacho as well, up by 5. Valverde up by 2 to a 90. Garnacho 82. 18 goals and 5 assists for him. Bruno Fernandes 14 goals, 7 assists. Even Højlund came in clutch with 12 goals. Rashford 11 goals, 2 assists. A bit disappointing. So lads, at the end of the first season, it is a 4th place finish in the Premier League, semi-finalist in the FA Cup, and of course, exit in the round of 16 in the Champions League and round 4 in the Carabao Cup. No points in the board so far. That has to change rapidly in the second season. We kick off season number 2 by selling Mason Greenwood to Arsenal for 50 million. Facundo Pellistri returned from loan and now he's been sold to Fulham for 8.5 million. We proceed to sell Hannibal Mejbri to Luton Town for 4.85 million. We sell Amad Diallo to Brentford for 16.2 million. Having a look at this squad now, what we certainly need is a new CDM, maybe a new left winger, because we don't have any on the bench left. And certainly the fullbacks positions as well as the centre back are on the chopping block. Certainly Varane, because he's the oldest of them all. Dalot is good. Shaw is still okay with 29, but Varane with 31 is certainly on the chopping blocks, just like Casemiro. We have an incredible budget of 626 million. I don't think the budget will ever be a problem in Manchester United's takeover. Our first signing of season number 2 is for a big man, a left winger, signing on from Real Madrid. A dream signing if that would happen in real life. I'm not so sure it would, but we have to build a super team here. And that is why we've signed the Brazilian sensation Vini Jr. from Real Madrid for 210 million. And he's of course a 92 overall, so a big upgrade on Rashford. Second player we will sign in the second window is a player who is linked to Manchester United in real life. It's another Brazilian. Actually, quite funnily, he gets greeted by the dripped up pre-built Sombrero here. Look at him with his hat. It is Gleison Bremer joining us for 50 million plus Rafael Varane, who of course was on the decline. 86 rated centre-back, so a +3 on Rafael Varane. It is the dream signing, the Dutchman, Frenkie de Jong. Ten Hag would be proud of this if he still was in charge, but now it is this man in charge, rebuild Sombrero, greeting Frenkie de Jong. With Vini Jr. into the side, as well as Frenkie de Jong, we have now built an absolute super team. Let's not forget Gleison Bremer at centre-back. These three signings have really elevated the quality of this team dramatically. So lads, at the end of season number 2, we have a big problem. Because we are only in 6th place, 66 points. 19 wins, 9 draws, 10 losses, just too many losses. 69 goals scored, nice, but 47 conceded, too much. And that is why we are only in 6th place. Not even Europa League football next season, if nothing exceptional happened. But that something exceptional did happen, as we won the FA Cup over Millwall in the final 3-0. But of course, those are our first 3 points on the leaderboards. Well done, lads. In the Carabao Cup, however, we faced Manchester City in round 3 and got knocked out. But the big one, the question, how did we do in the Champions League? We topped our group in flying colours, 18 points, no losses, no draws. In the round of 16, we narrowly passed Roma, 5-4 on aggregate. In the quarters, we thumped Arsenal, 5-2, well done. In the semis, oh my, we lost on penalties. On penalties to Bayern Munich, 4-all on aggregate, 5-4 on pens. And it is PSG defeating Bayern in the final of the Champions League. And Vini Jr. in his first season has delivered. He has scored 37 goals, 8 assists. Bruno Fernandes in second, very far apart from Vini, but 15 goals, 10 assists, still very good stats. And even Benzema delivered, even though he's down by 3, 15 goals, 6 assists. From the big Frenchman at 37 years of age. So yes lads, disappointing to only finish 6th in the Premier League. We will once again play in Europe, in the Europa League this time, no Champions League in season number 3. Let's jump into season number 3. In season number 3, our first act is to sell Mason Mount to Lazio for 63 million. A very controversial sale here. At Manchester United, as the homegrown boy Marcus Rashford has been transferred to Barcelona. We couldn't turn down the 98 million we got for him. First off, in transfer window of season number 3, we go in for a new left back. As Luke Shaw is getting on with the age. He's entering the club, coming in from Italy, from AC Milan. You guys know him very well. He's 27 in the perfect footballing age. And he's 88 overall. His trademark left foot. It is Theo Hernandez coming into the club. His contract was expiring for 45 million. And Tyler Malacia, our rotational left back. Second, we go in for a goalkeeper, new world-class goalkeeper, 30 years of age. We needed a bit of an upgrade over Andre Onana because we conceded too many goals last season. It is going to be coming into the building, Mike Maignan from AC Milan. Once again, we raided AC Milan. I'm sorry if there are any AC Milan fans here on my channel. We signed him on a cut price deal, 65 million for a 90 rated goalkeeper. Karim Benzema is also retiring at the end of the season, so we will need to see how we can replace him. We've of course got Rasmus Højlund, who is ready to take the spot. As a third and final signing of season number 3, we go in for a right winger. We didn't have enough depth in these positions, and so I decided to go in for a new star right winger from PSG. It is Ousmane Dembele joining us for 108 million on the dot. So he's giving us fantastic options on both wing positions. Dembele is now in that right wing spot, chopping and changing with Garnacho. He's 7 years younger, still already the same overall. Garnacho is an absolute gem. Then we have Theo Hernandez, 27, 88 rated in that left back spot. What an upgrade on, of course, Luke Shaw, who is 84 rated and older. And then Mike Maignan, also a big upgrade, +4 on Andre Onana. He's 30, 89 overall. I've also put Rasmus Højlund up top, as he's now 2 overall higher, and of course, about 15 years younger than Karim Benzema. Of course, lads, we are taking part in the FA Community Shield. We can make our first point of season number 3, which would of course be our 4th point in total, as we've already won the FA Cup last season. Can we do it? Can we get our 4th point in the Community Shield against champion Spurs? The result is a 2-1 win. Winnie Jr. and Bruno Fernandes do it, and we have won the FA Community Shield after Romero gave Spurs the lead. Our first point in season number 3. At the end of season number 3, we have finished in 2nd place on same points than Arsenal. We have missed out on the Premier League title by goal difference. Although, well, we are in the Champions League in season number 4. That is the only good thing about this. The FA Cup goes to Crystal Palace over Luton Town. And we have been knocked out. Oh my god, it gets even worse. We've gotten knocked out to Sheffield Wednesday of all teams in round 4 already. And again, another setback. It doesn't end, the pain doesn't end here. It is a 2-4 loss in the Carabao Cup final against Aston Villa. The Champions League goes to Real Madrid over Manchester City. We were of course in the Europa League, where we topped our group in flying colours, 5 points ahead of AEK from Sweden. In the round of 16 we defeated Atalanta. Well done, 5-3. And in the quarterfinals we lost to Benfica, so another painful experience in the Europa League. But Benfica have broken their curse. They've beaten the Dutch side Ajax 2-0 in the final. All these painful experiences lead to us only having a single point in this season, in season number 3, winning the FA Community Shield at the beginning of the season, of course, against Spurs. Vinny Jr. delivered once again, 31 goals, 10 assists, incredible. Bruno Fernandes as well, very close, 28 goals, that is for a cam, that is world class. Even Benzema, who is retiring at the end of this season, still with 11 goals. And also Højlund with 10 goals, 1 assist. Garnacho could do a little bit more. This squad is very good now. I mean, there is no player under the overall of 85 in the starting 11. And even on the bench, the lowest rated player will retire in Benzema. We have a few youth players here, the 3 here on the bench, all of them 16, 17 or 18. We are at the end of season number 3. A quite disappointing season. A season where we were so close, yet so far. Of course, the point from the Community Shield, 1 point, but it has to get better in season number 4. So let's jump into it. Our first big sale of season number 4 is Andre Onana going out to Crystal Palace for 57 million. We sell Casemiro controversially to Barcelona as a long servant of Real Madrid. This doesn't go well with the Blancos. We will have a whopping 716 million this season to spend. First off, in season number 4, we go in for a backup striker. It is the German teenage sensation in real life, getting greeted by rebuild Sombrero here at Manchester United. Youssoufa Moukoko joining us for 57.5 million from Milan. As a second player, we go in for an Englishman who is absolutely world class. He's had a revelation season in real life at Real Madrid. And we go in for the next big thing in English football. It is Jude Bellingham, the star boy, the star man at this point. 235 million, a world record signing at this point. The reunion between Bellingham and Vinicius Jr. as well. we go in for yet another Englishman. It is a regen on the right back position to give some cover to Diego Dalot. It is Jasper Forster joining us from Atletico Madrid. Maybe the regen of Kieran Trippier here for 70 million on the dot. Luke Shaw on the reserves even. Scalvini on the subs bench along Forster, of course, 20 years of age. Mukoko, 21 years of age. And even Bruno Fernandes now partially on the bench, 31.89. Not to be compared with a 23-year-old 92 Bellingham. We have arrived at the end of season number 4. In third place on 78 points. 23 wins, 9 draws, 6 losses. We will be playing Champions League football, however, no points on the leaderboard. Spectacular final in the FA Cup as Newcastle beat Crystal Palace, while we have been knocked out in the quarterfinals to Newcastle 2-1. Of course, I made a bit of a mistake, I want to rectify that, because actually we've only made 2 points so far, winning 1 FA Cup and 1 Community Shield. However, we win the Carabao Cup against crosstown rivals Manchester City 1-0 in the final, making it our first point in season number 4. And finally, in the Champions League, we topped our group in flying colours, 7 points ahead of Milan in second. In the round of 16, we actually beat RB Salzburg 4-3 in a close 2 legs. In the quarterfinals, we beat Arsenal, once again very close, 5-4 on aggregate. We turned it around in the second leg at home. And in the semis, we even beat PSG 3-1, which means that we will face Barcelona in the 2027 Champions League final. We played the game here against Barcelona in the German Olympiastadion in Berlin, with, of course, Bayindir in net because Maignan, our first goalkeeper, has been injured for 3 months now. We play with our backup goalkeeper. Let's hope for the best against Barcelona. First Champions League final of this rebuild. But we lose. We lose 3-1 to Barcelona. Very bad. Once again, Vini Jr. delivered with the goals. He's up to a 95 at 26 years of age. 27 goals in 1 single season. 10 assists. Bruno Fernandes while delivering 23 goals. Bellingham with 18 in his first season in the Premier League. What a player he is at 23 years of age, 93 overall. And even Rasmus Højlund came in clutch finally with 18 goals in 39 games. It is quite painful to not have won more than the Carabao Cup in the 4th season with this kind of a side. Not a lot of players under the overall of 90. We have Højlund here at 87, Dembele at 89. But he can be replaced with Garnacho now in the starting 11. Quarterfinals in the FA Cup, the winners of the Carabao Cup, which of course gives us 1 point, and runner-up in the Champions League. It could have been much more, but we only collect 1 point, which is 3 points in 4 seasons. Not brilliant by any stretch of the imagination. Let's jump into season number 5. A main staple of Manchester United's team in real life, but in this save, in season number 5, he's already 31. Coming to the back end of his career, and that is why we have sold Luke Shaw for 56.9 million to Aston Villa. We go in for a backup goalkeeper, younger and better than Altay Bayindir. He's 22 only, 83 overall. It's the Frenchman Guillaume Restes coming in from Lens for 50 million on the dot. We go in for a man who was scouted for a long time by Manchester United. In the end he went to Arsenal, but in this save we pick him up from Napoli. It is the 28-year-old, 88 rated Declan Rice joining us for 100 million. I found this quite interesting here. As an option, rotational option on the left back position behind Theo Hernandez. Because it is his brother, Theo Hernandez's brother, Lucas Hernandez, joining us here on a cut price deal because his contract was expiring. He joins for 25.7 million from Barcelona. We sell Altay Bayindir to Sevilla, our third string or fourth string goalkeeper now. We have topped our Champions League group without losing a single game, 2 points ahead of Inter. We actually defeated Shakhtar Donetsk 4-1 on aggregate. In the quarters we thumped Juventus 5-2. And in the semi-finals, we ran riot against Barcelona, which means that we will face Bayer Leverkusen in the Champions League final in season number 5. Also on the line was the Premier League title, because we have defeated Manchester City in a very close running by 1 point, 88 points. Fantastic Premier League campaign. The FA Cup goes to Newcastle over Spurs on penalties. We have gotten knocked out in round 4, the replay against Spurs on penalties as well. At least they've gotten their karma in the final. What we do win though is the Carabao Cup, which brings us 1 point for defeating Spurs in that final. Vinny Jr. once again at the top of everything. 33 goals, 16 assists. By a mile, our most prolific, effective player, up to a 96 overall. Højlund with 18 goals as well, very steady. Bellingham with 11 goals, 4 assists. Moukoko with 11 goals as well. The big question now, however, is if we can add to our tally of points in season number 5. We've of course already gotten 1 point for the Carabao Cup and 3 points for the Premier League title. But the big one here. Can we add 5 points against Bayer Leverkusen? Last one we lost to Barcelona. This time against Leverkusen. We lose again! No! We lose again! How wasteful can you be? 8 shots, 7 chances against 2 shots, 1 chances. But Gyökeres scores the decisive goal. 1-0 to Leverkusen. We don't get the 5 points. Lads, at the halfway point of this takeover, after 5 seasons, we've only made a shocking 7 points. 4 of those have come this season with the Carabao Cup and the Premier League, our first one in this takeover. But we really need to strap ourselves in if we want to have any chance of competing with Napoli, who have made 49 points on 7 measly, shocking points after 5 seasons. Let's jump into season 6, centre back. 22 years of age. It's a region, an Englishman, and he's an absolute baller. It is Frankie Blake, joining us from Bayer Leverkusen for 130 million. Second and probably final player into the squad in season number 6 is a new left winger who can give competition to Vinicius Jr. A player who formerly of Arsenal already has a lot of experience in the Premier League. It is Gabriel Martinelli joining us from RB Leipzig for 130 million on the dot. Our team for season number 6 looking like this. No changes in the starting 11 for this team, but certainly on the bench, as we have put in Blake here at the centre back position, 22.89, as well as Gabriel Martinelli, who is only on the reserves at this moment in time, 27.88 overall. So we get our first point in the FA Community Shield. For next season already, we sell Lucas Hernandez. He's 32 now. Past his best. Lads, at the end of season number 6, we absolutely destroyed the Premier League. 22 points ahead of second placed Chelsea, and even nearly 30 points ahead of Arsenal in third. 97 points, nearly Centurions, only 1 single loss. That is 3 points onto the leaderboard. As documented before, we've already won the FA Community Shield, that's another point, 4 points. And in the Carabao Cup, we've gotten knocked out in round 3, so no success there this time. However, we've won another point, as we've defeated Spurs to win the Emirates FA Cup. But the really big one, the really interesting one that gets you 5 points, is of course the Champions League. We've topped our group without a loss, before defeating Real Madrid 3-1 in the round of 16. What a difficult opponent to have in the round of 16, oh my. In the quarterfinals, we even defeated Juventus 4-3. And in the semis, Inter, 2 Italians back-to-back, to reach the final against Barcelona once again. Can we have our revenge from season number 3? So far this season, we've of course made 5 points because of the Community Shield, the FA Cup, both 1 point and then 3 points for the Premier League. Can we get 10 points? Can we do it with our full strength starting 11? No player under the overall of 90. Even Højlund and Rice up to 90 now. Can we do it? We quick sim the game. 5 points on the line and we get them. We get our revenge against Barcelona. Theo Hernandez and Bellingham turn around the early goal by Barcelona by Koundé to give us 5 further points, 10 points alone in season number 6. Finally, these guys really delivered. Martinelli, our new man, backup, 20 goals, 21 for Vinicius and 22 for our marksman Højlund up front. Even Bruno Fernandes, even though he's gone down by 1 again, still with 15 goals and 8 assists. In one season alone, we jumped from 7 points on the leaderboard to 17. It was necessary as we've only made 7 points in the first 5 seasons and 10 points alone in season number 6. We've done a treble and I hope that the following seasons are going to be similarly successful. Let's jump into season number 7. First off this season, season number 7, we play against Chelsea in the FA Community Shield. Can we get our first point of season number 7? The answer is no. We lose to Jeremy's goal against Chelsea. No point so far. However, we will have a further chance to get some silverware at the beginning of the season. I have exchanged the team to a second team because all of the first team players were tired. I did a terrible job managing the fitness. But oh well, we are facing the Europa League winners Feyenoord in the UEFA Super Cup. Can we now get our first point of season number 7? We do actually, yes. Calvini, Vini Jr. and Paixão, the second team, has done better than the first team. We sell a big player in Ousmane Dembele to Chelsea for 142.5 million. He was 32 years of age, 90 rated, on the decline. We get in our first player of season number 7. It is a regen midfielder. I am very sure that it is the regen of Luka Modric. It is Franjo Knežević joining us from Fiorentina for 50 million on the dot. And he's an 82 rated, 21-year-old, an exciting prospect. For the second and final player of this transfer window, we go in for a second left back who will compete with Theo Hernandez. We have found our left back finally after a long search. From Barcelona he comes in for 90 million on the dot after of course the transfer window of season number 7. No player under the overall of 90 still. A fantastic bench and even a good subs bench, reserves bench. Because here are some youth academy players. Jones, right winger, 80 rated, 20 years of age after his loan spell. Potts, 22 years old. I've already shown you this guy last season, 85 rated. At the end of the 7th season, we stand on top, far away from Spurs, Manchester City and even Arsenal. 93 points, 23 ahead of Tottenham. 3 points for winning the Premier League in season 7. We have also won the Carabao Cup over Arsenal 3-2 in the final, which gives us 1 further point in season number 7. However, in the FA Cup it is another story because Liverpool defeat West Ham in that final, while we had been knocked out by Crystal Palace in round 5. In the Champions League we comfortably topped our group, Group C, over Leipzig, Villarreal and FCSB, before defeating PSG in a close 2-legged affair, 6-5 on aggregate, and even obliterating Manchester City in the quarterfinals 4-0, but then losing to another English side, oh no, to Chelsea 3-2 in the semis, and Chelsea have also won the Champions League over Atletico Madrid, so no points in the Champions League, stays at 5. Well, I mean, the stats have been quite amazing. Vini Jr. once again, Bellingham, Højlund, and even Moukoko and Garnacho stepping up. Having a look here at the squad at the end of the season, of course, still every player in their 90s, only Declan Rice, a 90 flat 90, the others all over the 90 overall threshold. We have, of course, once again won the Premier League. We've also won the Carabao Cup, but in the other competitions, we have fell short, far away still from Napoli, who have made 49 points, and in the final 3 seasons, we have to make every single point possible to even stand the possibility of catching up to the Italians. Let's jump into season number 8. So lads, first off this season, as per usual, season 8 begins with a trip to Wembley Stadium for the FA Community Shield. We haven't won that competition very often, so let's try to win it this season with a crazy starting 11. We have to do it against Liverpool. On the 10th of August, we win 2-1. Absolutely brilliant. Theo Hernandez will be out for 5 months due to a broken tailbone injury. As a first player this season, we go in for a new cam replacing Bruno Fernandes. It is a new star player. He's in his 90s in overall terms. It is Jamal Musiala coming in from Bayern Munich. His contract was running down, so we got him for 100 million plus Bruno Fernandes, who's now 33 years of age. Only 27, 93, he should be 94 even overall. I suppose now it gets really crazy because we go in for the French sensation from PSG, the world's best player, Kylian Mbappe, in a swap deal once again. Kylian Mbappe coming into the offices of Manchester United here in season number 8. He's 31, 94 overall. He comes in for 90 million plus Youssoufa Moukoko in a swap deal here. On transfer deadline day, we finesse Fiorentina because we send Theo Hernandez back to Italy, an injured Theo Hernandez who is out for 5 months. And in comes Alejandro Balde, who replaces Theo Hernandez. He's of course much younger. Theo Hernandez is of course coming on with age, already decreased, and that's why Alejandro Balde is the perfect fit, the perfect replacement. This is the squad we're looking at the end of the transfer window of season number 8. Mbappe into the starting 11, 94 rated, 31-year-old. As well as Alejandro Balde, 26 only. I said 27, he's 26 only, 89 overall. And then we have Musiala on the bench, 27, 93, could also start, but we have Bellingham here, who is 96, 27, same age, 3 higher rated. So at the end of season number 8, we actually haven't won the Premier League. We have finished in second on same points as Manchester City, but worse goal difference, which means we don't get any points in the Premier League. However, in the FA Cup, we get our second point of the season after the Community Shield, defeating Newcastle United 2-1 in the final. In the Carabao Cup, however, we lost in the 4th round to Brighton. And finally, in the Champions League, the biggest one of them all, we topped our group in flying colours, 18 points out of a possible 18, before defeating Benfica in the round of 16. And even Roma in the quarterfinals, 5-3 on aggregate. And then Manchester City, our crosstown rivals, 6-4 on aggregate in the semi-finals, which means we will play Arsenal in the final of the Champions League, where another 5 points will be on the chopping blocks. We are right now on 24 points before this Champions League final in season number 8. We massively need that Champions League to go in our favour, to at least stand a chance in the last 2 seasons to catch up with Napoli, who have more than double the points still than us. At Wembley Stadium here in England, in the Champions League final, we lose another Champions League final. This is so painful. Hanko and Lucas scored for Arsenal. Mbappe gave us the equaliser, but it just wasn't enough, and we lose to Arsenal. I mean, how does this team even lose to Arsenal? No player under the overall of 90. Even a fantastic bench, a fantastic reserves even. There is a clear trend visible here, because only Garnacho and Vini delivered. Martinelli, Bellingham and Mbappe still in the double digits, but all the others behind. I mean, even Mbappe, only 10 goals in his debut season here with Manchester United. 2 points in season number 8, 24 points in total, is not enough. Every single trophy we need to win in the last 2 seasons. Otherwise, we are a laughing stock with this team. It is Gabriel Martinelli, wanted out of the club for 1 year now. He goes to Girona for 157.8 million. Player that wanted out of the club. I granted his wish once again. Also because of his age, he's already decreased to a 90 overall, our former starting centre-back. It is Bremer joining Chelsea for 58.8 million. Our former right-winger, superstar talent Ryan Jones has been sold to Bournemouth for 75 million. First off, in season number 9, we face Manchester City at Wembley Stadium for yet another FA Community Shield. Can we get our first point of season number 9? Yes, we do! We win 3-2 due to a Mbappe hat-trick actually. We've gone in for a regen from Real Madrid. It is Denis Gonçalves joining us for 100 million on the dot, a 90 rated centre-back. Next up, we go in for a Belgian central midfielder, also a regen, probably the Kevin De Bruyne regen. We've gone in for Justin Laurent from Juventus for 75 million. He is an 84 rated 19-year-old good man for the next 2 seasons. We sell a big player. He's 34 now, 89 rated still. But it was the best moment to sell him, as we still got 43 million from Spurs. Not a bad price. Argentinian regen. Only regens in season number 9, which is quite normal, because most of the players are old or retired at this point. He's coming in with a lot of hype here. In season number 9, our last signing is Alberto Cardona, joining us from Leverkusen, 200 million on the dot. Cardona on the bench here, he is converting to a right winger. And then Laurent, 1984, also converting to a CDM. We have Walters from the Youth Academy, few Youth Academy players actually, because here you see Miranda, 2082, still an exciting prospect. But this team, this starting 11 has to go for every single title there is in season number 9. We are back to being the runaway league champions, 96 points, 14 ahead of Manchester City, giving us further 3 points this season, added to the Community Shield point, 4 points so far. In the FA Cup, it is Manchester City losing the final against Chelsea on penalties, and we have got knocked out by Spurs in round 5. We don't win the Carabao Cup either, because Arsenal defeat Burnley there. We have got knocked out by bloody Burnley in the quarter-finals. In the Champions League, we topped our group once again in flying colours. Only 1 draw, 0 losses, 16 points. And in the round of 16, we obliterated the Kings of Europe, Real Madrid, 4-1 on aggregate. In the quarters, we even dominated Dortmund 4-1. And in the semis, we scraped through Napoli 5-3 on penalties to reach the final yet again against PSG. We have made 3 points for the Premier League and 1 point for the Community Shield so far, 4 points in season 9, but we could add another 5 points, would be absolutely vital. This is last chance saloon here. If Manchester United want to get anywhere in this takeover, can they do it against PSG in the Champions League final? No! Yet another defeat in a Champions League final. It's Bino Gittens, the wonder kid on FC24, giving PSG the Champions League trophy, and we are standing there with empty hands. Mbappe with 28 goals, he's the star of the show, and even his backup Højlund with 21 in 24. Garnacho also stepped his game up, 15 goals in 33. Bellingham 11 goals, 12 assists, very balanced, just like Vinny, who could have scored a few more, but 12 assists are making up for it. Justin Laurent's position from a central midfielder to a number 6, and he stays at an 85. We have only made 28 points in 9 seasons. We cannot catch up to Napoli anymore, who have made 49 points, of course, the Italians. We are 21 behind going into the final season. But oh well, let's rescue what we can in season number 10. Unfortunately, this guy didn't really live up to my expectations, so that's why I've sold him after a few loan moves. It is Kobe Mainu for 37 million to Spurs against Chelsea in the Community Shield. Can we get our first point of season number 10? The answer is actually no. We lose 5-3 on pens. Our X-Man Bremer scored against us, of course. and we lose the Community Shield. We sign a new CDM. It is the French superstar. His contract was expiring, which doesn't matter anyways because we have 2 billion in the bank. He gets greeted by rebuild Sombrero as per usual. It is Aurélien Chouameni from Spurs joining us for 55 million as a rotational backup option. It is a German keeper, maybe the Manuel Neuer or the Marc-Andre ter Stegen regen. Oscar Sommer joining us from Atletico Madrid for 66 million. This team cannot be improved much more. On each and every position we have 3 players. We have a big reserves. The lowest rated players in the whole squad are Harris from the Youth Academy and Sommer that we bought in goal. He's our backup goalkeeper. Restes with 27, 88 also. And we win back-to-back league titles. Our 5th title in the Premier League in the 10 seasons. 4 points ahead of Spurs, which of course adds another 3 points to the total. The FA Cup final against Leicester. What a sham once again here. Another final lost. On the other hand, we have won Manchester Derby to win our 4th point of season number 10 in the Carabao Cup final. Champions League. This was our most challenging group, I think, in the 10 seasons. We came by on same points as Frankfurt. We topped our group. In the round of 16 we destroyed Real Sociedad 6-1. And in the quarterfinals, we lost on penalties against Bayern Munich, so no points for the Champions League. With an injured Kylian Mbappe, 27 goals in 34 games, 18 in 29 for Højlund, 16 in 35 for Garnacho, same 16 goals for Vini Jr., 11 goals, 16 assists for Bellingham, and even the Youth Academy product, Harris, came in clutch, 21 years of age only, 89 rated. I'm sad I have to leave him, but oh well. Musiala, 7 goals, 13 assists. It's a phenomenal team that should have won a lot more trophies. I mean, it's a fantastic squad. And even the bench is disgustingly good, even the reserves. As you know, Laurent, the Kevin De Bruyne region with 20 years of age, 88 rated. Harry's Youth Academy prospect, 21, 89. Incredible sight. And as I said, we deserved more points, but we were not clinical enough in the finals. At the end of the 10 seasons, we've won 5 league titles, 7 domestic cups and 1 continental cup, which was of course the Champions League in season number 6. But otherwise, we have collected 32 points in 10 seasons, which is not great, I'm not gonna lie. The English giants Manchester United have kind of disappointed and are of course second with their 32 points, behind the leaders Napoli on 49 points. But lads, if you enjoyed this type of video, this type of takeover, then please consider dropping a like on the video as well as subscribing to the channel. Have a wonderful rest of your day. It's Rebuild Sombrero.